Okay. All right, everyone. Welcome back for another session of the Relaxing Fertility Yoga sponsored by the Fertility Partnership. My name is Julie. And the class tonight is actually about poses and ways of coping with the 2-week wait. That being said, even if you're not currently in the 2-week wait, this class is still for you, okay? And also, this class is for both men and women. So please don't ever, guys, don't feel like you're not welcome here. You're absolutely welcome here. Sometimes you'll hear me talk more about the female body within with certain poses, but of course, again, you're still welcome. So yeah, what else do I need to say? I see that a few more of you are joining right now. So again, just to reiterate, this class, the session today is about, again, the 2-week wait, but please remember that this class is for you at any stage of your journey. And this class is safe for those of you, of course, in that 2-week wait, but also safe for any point of your fertility journey. That being said, if something doesn't feel right to you, please don't feel like you uh, have to do something. Okay, just listen to your body always. We'll begin the session with a centering and a breathing exercise, and then we'll move into some warm-up movements. And then from there, we'll flow through some very gentle postures. We'll do a bit of hip opening today, a bit of chest opening, a bit of relaxing, and even a vagus nerve exercise, which if you've been doing these classes with me, you'll have done this before. Which is an exercise for calming down the nervous system. This is probably a good moment to mention that I do have 2 dogs and 2 cats, and they do sometimes make a little bit of noise or make guest appearances. Try to just let that be part of this moment. Come here. Oh, no, she's not going to come. Okay. So let's start. We're going to start with a centering and breathing exercise, and then we're going to, again, move into those warm-up movements. So for your centering and breathing, you always have 2 options. So you can either sit or you can lie down. And please remember that you can use any props that you might have available to you. So if you have yoga props like bolsters or blocks or straps, please feel free to use those. But if you don't have those, you can also use things in your house like pillows or cushions. So just always feel free to integrate what you have on hand. Okay? So again, to begin, we're going to start, and you can either sit up nice and tall, or you can lie down onto your back. And if you lie onto your back, you've always got 2 options here. You can either bend your knees with your feet on the floor. That's easier on the lower back if you have lower back sensitivities. Or you can extend the legs all the way out, just letting them flop and splay, as long as that feels okay to your lower back. Those of you who have been sitting much of the day, whether at a desk or in a vehicle, please go ahead and lie down. Your hips and your lower back will probably thank you for that. And it's just a way of, again, starting to come into that place of relaxing the body. So once you find the position that serves you, again, either sitting or lying down, just take a few rolls of the shoulders. You're going to inhale and roll the shoulders up, and exhale them down and back. And again. And one more. And just relax the shoulders down. Relax the hands, either facing up or down, up for receiving energy, down for grounding energy. And then close your eyes. And take a few deep inhales through the nose, with exhales sighing or blowing the air out of the mouth. And just do that as many times as you need. Inhaling calm. Exhaling, sighing out, letting go of any stress or any tension. And once you sighed out a few times, just return to your natural breath. And start to notice the breath. Notice where it lands in your body. And notice what the breath can tell you about this moment in your body. And whatever you find in this practice, whether in your body, in your mind, within your feelings or your energy, try to just notice anything and everything without judgment. So there's no need to label anything as good or bad. Just allow it all to be part of now. And start to deepen your breath. So you're going to inhale through the nose. Take the breath down into the belly so that the belly rises with the inhale. Exhale out the nose and feel the belly roll back towards the spine. Inhale, belly rises. Exhale, belly falls. And deepen your breath further. Inhale through the nose, fill up, belly, ribs, chest, expanding all the way up through the inhale. Exhale out the nose, chest, ribs, and belly contract. So we inhale, expand, and exhale, contract. Those of you familiar with the Ujjayi or the ocean wave sounding breath, go ahead and come into that. So it's like inhaling and exhaling the word home through your nose to create that audible wave sound. If you don't know what that is, the Ujjayi breath, or if you've had a sore throat lately, don't worry. Just keep breathing deeply right now. And then remember that studies show that what we visualize has a direct impact on the body. So we see this in sports science with athletes, that if athletes imagine and see themselves getting baskets, getting goals, they in fact do better. And we know that there are ways of also regulating certain elements of the body simply through visualization. Your mind can be an incredible tool. So what I'd like you to do right now is, as you're breathing, inhale through the nose. And as you're taking the breath all the way down and filling up the lungs, I'd like you to send each breath as if it is moving throughout your body. So visualize the inhale coming in, and then as if it's moving all the way out through the legs, through the fingers, through the toes. And visualize a light, so that there's just this healing energy with every inhale. Inhale, bring that healing, calming energy into your body, through your veins, out into the trillions of cells in your body. And with each exhale, just release anything you no longer need. So if you're very stressed, if you're worried, if you're anxious, if you're feeling very low, it's okay. This is part of the human experience. But for this session in which you're taking the time to nourish yourself, inhale, imagine bringing that light and calm into your body. And exhale and visualize yourself releasing all of that heaviness, all of that pent up energy that might be weighing you down. And let's take at least 5 more rounds of breath here with this visualization. And then start to mentally ready yourself for movement now. And just in your own time, in your own way, draw some movement back into your body. And just let yourself stretch, roll around, yawn, sigh. Just do whatever you need, whatever feels good to you. And then from here, start to bring yourself up to seated. I'm not sure if you can hear my cats, but they don't really get along. Oh no. Oh no. I think one cat's getting sick. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, guys, give me just a second. So bring yourself up to seated. Take a few more moments just to move around a little bit. Leanne just got sick in the conservatory. Can you go clean it up because she's gonna eat it? All right, guys, I'm so sorry. So this is the nature of real life and live videos is that I have to stop my dogs from eating cat vomit, and my partner has to do that. So okay, sorry, Luna. I've foiled your attempts at a snack. Okay, so once you've found that seated position, I'm so sorry. Once you've found that seated position, take an inhale, lift your arms up, and exhale, release your arms down. And again, inhale, lift, and exhale, down. And then inhale, lift all the way up. And exhale, hinge forward from the hips and bow down towards the earth. Roll the hands in towards your heart. Inhale, lift up to the sky. And exhale, down. Take a couple more like that. All right, and then inhale, lift all the way up. And then as you exhale, I want you to take your left hand down towards your spine and bring your right hand over to that left elbow. Start with just a tricep stretch. So you're sitting up tall here. You're just drawing the elbow across, nothing masochistic. Okay, so we inhale there. And then exhale, we even push out a little bit through the left side of the ribs. So we lean a bit to the right. Oh. And then inhale back through center. Nothing fancy, just swapping to the other side, starting with that tricep stretch. So let your right hand drop down towards your spine. Draw the left arm over so we're opening up there. Thank you, my love. We're going to inhale here. And then exhale. We push out through the right side of the ribs. And then inhale all the way back up through center. Take your hands up, interlace your fingers, turn your palms up to the sky. Take a stretch. So we're just starting to open up through the upper back, through the shoulders. And then turn your palms back up. And thinking about this region across the upper back and the shoulders, I just want you to start to circle around a little bit here. So we're just opening up. Okay, one more. And then take it all the way back up and release the arms down. All right. And then once you've released the arms down, just unwind your legs. So we're just going to do a few very gentle hip openers here. So I'd like you to unwind your legs so that one leg is coming out front and the other leg is coming around the back in these two triangles. And it's like you're pinwheeling your legs, okay? It doesn't matter which is out front because we're going to do a dynamic movement where we go back and forth. If you've done these sessions before, you'll probably recognize this move. So let the front foot be a couple inches away or so from the leg. It doesn't have to be right against it. It can just be, again, a little bit further away. And we're going to sit back into the hands and then roll the legs from one side to the other. But you can see that what's happening here is I'm simply rolling over the edges of the feet. I'm not picking the feet up and slapping them back and forth. So it's like a windscreen wiper or windshield wiper. Okay, so we're just going to take it back and forth, starting to bring a bit of opening into the hips. What's nice with incorporating some dynamic movements as well is that we can start to often release a little more tension just when we get some movement going. You might feel something rising up in you that wants to be released, and you can sigh anytime or blow the air out. And then we're going to take it a little bit further. So we're going to take it to one side and then push down, and you can adjust the position of your hands here so that you feel supported. We're going to take it to one side and then lift the back arm up, and we open up through the chest, bringing the chest up to the sky. Oh. And then exhale, take it down and over to the other side. Inhale, lift. And exhale down, and just take it back and forth. So what we're doing here is we're really opening up through the hip flexor, through the psoas, up into the chest and the back. And just keep it going. Take a couple more. Just creating space in the body to be open, to relax, but also to receive. Let's take one more. And then take it back to a few of those windscreen wipers, side to side. And then when next, you can bring your left leg forward, okay? And your right leg is coming around the back, and just adjust so that you can sit there as comfortably as possible. You can just let your left hand relax onto the knee and take your right hand into your right hip crease. And we're just going to send that hip forward and back. And again, we send it forward and back. And let's do about 3 more. Okay. And then take it all the way back to center. If you haven't done these sessions before, opening up the hips is very important when we're talking about fertility yoga. For so many reasons, opening up the hips is important simply in our modern lifestyles. Our hips take on a lot, just in the way that we typically live, the amount that we sit. So they physically take on a lot, but the hips are also a bit like the emotional junk drawers of the body. So most people are very comfortable with the idea that we can store stress or anxiety in the chest or in the shoulders or the neck. And then sometimes people are like, what do you mean the hips store emotions? Anecdotally, I can say that it's true. You might not necessarily experience your hips as stress storage or emotional storage because maybe that hasn't been in your lexicon to think about it that way. But just opening up the hips is, and especially when you think about this whole pelvic region, it's so important when we're talking about trying to create life, right? And to create space for life. We want to remove the stress from this part of the body. Okay. And Yeah, so we're going to keep doing some hip opening here. So we're going to take our hands over to the left knee. And I just want you to sit up tall, open your chest. Likewise, playing a lot with chest opening the heart, releasing the stored stress and anxiety here. Again, opening to receive through the heart. And then exhale, take your hands down. Try not to fall into that left side. It's really easy to do. Do the best you can just to be equally into each arm over that knee. And if this is enough, stay here. I realize my microphone might be getting in the way. Sorry, one sec. I'll bring it down. Okay. And then if you want, you can stack your fists and take your forehead onto stacked fists or stacked palms, or you might be able to take the arms straight out and take the head down. Okay. Sometimes the knee and the chin, they get in each other's way. So you just do the best that you can with that. If they're getting in each other's way, just stack the fists maybe. Take another breath here. Oh, and we're going to start to roll it up through center. And then lean back into your hands and simply start to swap your legs. Now, if you're ending up kind of facing all the way, you can just the shoop. I don't know. That's the verb. Shoop yourself around. Okay. And then we're going to take the right hand onto the right knee and then the left hand into that left hip. And we're just going to take a few of those hip movements forward and back. Okay. And then bring it back to center. Same idea. We're going to start by taking the hands over onto that right knee and then open up the chest, open up proud over that leg. Breathe. And then if it's available to you, walk it down onto your forearms. Again, try not to fall into that right side. It's very easy to do. I often think it's kind of like, I don't know, an animal. I mean, I'm super exaggerating, but like a dog or a cat that just flops out into the sunlight. We want to keep ourselves again over that knee. And then if it's available, walk your arms all the way out, head comes down. If that's not available, stack your hands or stack your fists, placing the forehead on top of those. And just take some nice deep breaths here. And then inhale, lift the head, lift the heart. And start to walk yourself all the way back up. Lean back into your hands and then just unwind your legs such that you can draw the soles of the feet together out in front of you. And draw the heels as close to your pelvis as is comfortable, but if it's tormenting your knees, you might need to take it a little further. And actually, just to show you, especially for anyone unfamiliar with yoga props, so these are a couple yoga blocks or yoga bricks. In a pose like this, say you have knees that go up like this, say you have very, very tight hips. Being in this position, not comfortable if it's very tight here, in which case you can prop your legs up and give them some support. So you can use those blocks in multiple ways. You can turn them onto 3 different, I mean, the upper side's not really stable, but so yeah, so always feel free to play with props. If you don't have them and you think, yeah, that looks good, feel free to get some, or if you want to find a couple. I always say Russian novels are pretty good. Like you could put War and Peace and Anna Karenina under your knees, and that would probably work just as well. You might not be able to, anyway. Okay, so we're going to interlace our fingers over the toes, and we're going to roll the shoulders back and open up through the chest and just traction up through the spine. So again, creating that space through the vertebrae, opening the heart, opening the hips, taking deep breaths. Bound angle Baddha Konasana is so good for leg circulation as well. Anything where we're helping the blood flow, important when we're looking at fertility. Okay. And then inhale, again, elongate up through your crown, through your spine. And then exhale, hinge forward from your hips and start with a flat back. If you have back sensitivities, or if your hips are very tight and your knees start to hurt, stay here. So with either slightly arched back or a flat back. And if it feels okay to your back and to your knees, you can inhale and elongate and then exhale, round down, taking the head down towards the toes. Okay. So just find what feels right to you. And take a few deep breaths there. Oh my goodness, you have so much to say tonight. Okay. And then inhale, lift the head, lift the heart. Start to bring yourself all the way back up. Now, from here, I want to do a pose that we also did last week. It does involve a wall, but if you don't have a wall, you can play with it in other ways. But using a wall or using a door is one of the nicest things that you can do here. So it is simply legs up the wall pose. This is a pose that's also recommended for pregnant women, but it's good for just general relaxing. So to get into legs up the wall pose can actually be a bit awkward. So you have many options. You can just wiggle yourself up next to a wall or a door and then just kind of scooch yourself there. Or another way of getting into this is that you lie on one side, okay? And you just push your legs, the backs of your legs against the wall. And then we take it up, okay? Obviously, mind any radiators. Don't burn yourself. Mind anything you might have on the wall, obviously. Now, if for any reason there's just no way that you can do legs up the wall right now, there's no wall around you in the space where you're at, you can also simply come into putting your legs up. However, or let me actually offer one more thing. Another option would be if you have a sofa or a chair, you can also rest your legs against something like that. So if I were to just use the piano, has the piano in the frame? So I can easily also use the piano here as a support for the legs, okay? Because what I do not want you to do, guys, really important cue here. What I want you to avoid is anything where you are actively engaging your core. Okay. So if you were simply doing this free standing, where you take your legs up to 90 degrees, for me personally, this does not engage my core because I've been practicing this for years and the flexibility is there in my hips that I can be here and it's fine and there's no abdominal effort. For many people to be here, they'll have the legs a bit down and then the transverse abdominis, the lower abdomen kicks in. I want you to avoid that. So when we're talking about the 2-week wait, when we're talking about IVF, it is better to avoid abdominal work. Okay. So anything like crunches where you're just really engaging your core is just best avoided at that time. Okay. Let's take about 5 or so more breaths here and just really deep, beautiful breaths. Gratitude for our lungs, gratitude for our legs, gratitude for the wall. Take another breath here. And then to come out of this pose is almost equally awkward to getting into it. So you can just either start to wiggle your way back, or you can slide your legs down and roll onto one side. Okay. And then once you have come out, I just want you to then take yourself up however you can so that you can take a child's pose. Now, this child's pose, you can do it in one of two ways. You can either take your knees a little bit wide so that they're more at a V shape, and then bring your arms down to the floor with your belly between your legs. I find that's usually more comfortable. Or you could take your belly over your legs, but in fact, I'm thinking as we're talking about the 2-week wait, the wide angle is going to be better for this. It's going to be nicer on your hips and nicer on your tummy. So take the forehead down, just relax the arms. Oh, and just sigh out here. Child's pose or Garbhasana is a fantastic pose for down regulating the nervous system. So when you're feeling heightened, stressed, anxious, just to spend a little bit of time with your head and your heart facing the earth, your hips open like this, in just breathing. It's such a beautiful gift that you can give yourself. So let's just take a few more breaths in child's pose. Take another breath here. And then lift the head, lift the heart. And take your fingertips out in front of you. So you're just coming up onto your fingertips, making these 2 5-legged spiders. And then you're going to spread the fingers out nice and wide. Okay. So then we are pushing through the tips of the fingers, the knuckles, and giving the wrist a little bit of a break. So we're just using as much of the surface area of the hands as we can. And then we're going to roll towards the hands, curl the toes under behind us, send the hips back, roll the shoulders back, and come into your downward facing dog or Adho Mukha Svanasana. And just go ahead and take your dog for a little walk. So you just bend one knee and then the other. Oh, walk it out, walk it out, walk it out. Oh, and then just push back into your full expression of a downward dog. It's absolutely fine for your heels to be lifted. In fact, for most people, that will be the more comfortable variation. Otherwise, you might not be able to really stretch back through the spine. Downward dog is another pose that's believed to be good for helping to balance hormones. And then let's inhale, lift the right leg up to the sky. So you're taking a 3-legged dog. And then exhale, bend. Oh, actually, sorry. Exhale, bend your right knee and point your right toes over towards the left side first. So we're just taking that little twist and opening up of the hip. And then inhale, right leg goes straight back up again. And then we exhale and we bring the right knee forward onto the floor next to the right wrist, okay? Toe your right toes towards the left side. There's no need to wrench that foot forward. You just toe it in that direction. Take your left knee down and then start to toe your left leg back, okay? So we're going to take a pigeon pose here. Again, really working the hips. And in this pigeon pose, a few things to be aware of. I'm going to give you lots of options here, but be aware that you don't fall into that right buttock. I'm exaggerating, but what will happen if you fall to the right is you're going to kind of turn up and out to the right side, and we're not then aligning the body, and it's just not good, just not nice things happening when we do this. Likewise, it's really easy to fall into that left hand, and then we kind of turn into a bit of a bass clef, and we kind of face up and out to the right. We want to avoid both of those. So I want you to think about your spine and keeping your spine straight on in front of you. And you can come onto your hands at a shoulder distance stance. Maybe this is going to be enough. If you can take it a little bit further, walk up into your fingertips, roll the shoulders back, open up through the chest. So we're not turning into very sad pigeons and losing the neck, but again, shoulders back, proud pigeons, opening the chest. They are not rats of the sky. They are proud birds who have evolved just like everything. Okay, so take an inhale here. And then exhale. Walk yourself down onto your forearms. Again, same options as with those earlier hip openers. You can stack your fists, taking your forehead onto stacked fists. Stack your palms, forward onto stacked palms. Or you can extend the arms all the way out in front of you, taking your forehead down. But again, be very aware that you're not falling into either side when you come into this resting pigeon. Keep your spine straight on, okay? Ooh, and I know that pigeon is it's a heck of a pose. So if you're thinking, ooh, I want you to imagine with every inhale, you are bringing calm right down into that hip, and you are bringing that inhale in to start to break up the tension there. And every exhale is releasing that tension from your body. Again, we are creating space here. We are creating space for whether it is new life or a new sense of calm and peace, releasing the past. It's all good. Okay? Take another breath here. Whew. And then start to lift the head, lift the heart. Walk your hands out in front of you. And then just start to toe that left leg forward a little bit. And then we're going to take the hands and shoulders in line, wrists and shoulders in line. Lift that left leg back up. So you're curling the left toes under. Ooh, kick that right leg back. Hello. And exhale. Take your right toes, bring them back down. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So we start, left leg goes up. Exhale, bend that left knee, point the left toes over to the right. And then inhale, left leg up. And exhale, take your left knee and bring it up to your left wrist. And we're going to toe those left toes over to the right wrist. Again, there's no need to wrench that foot forward. Just take them to the point that they go. Spending a lot of time with this plant. Okay. And then toe your right toes all the way back. Now, if you're like me, you might have an imbalance in your hips. My left hip is quite tortured compared to my right. You might find that it's the opposite for you, or that actually you're pretty balanced in your hips, in which case I am super impressed and envious. Okay. Again, you can either be here onto your hands out in front of you at shoulder distance. If you're feeling that this is pretty intense, this is where you'll be. If you want to take it a little further, come up into your fingertips, roll the shoulders back, open the chest. So again, we're getting that nice hip flexor stretch and that beautiful opening through the chest. Again, creating all kinds of space in the body, both physically and energetically. Okay. And then start to bring it down onto your forearms. Again, be aware if you're starting to lean or fall to one side. And then you can either stack your fists, stack your palms, or take the arms all the way out in front of you with the forehead down. Again, I want you to breathe deeply here. And again, visualize, use that power of your mind. See every inhale, breaking up that tension, every exhale, releasing it, freeing yourself of whatever is there. Just to say, if you ever suddenly feel teary or weepy doing a pose like pigeon or any type of hip opener, know that firstly, it's very normal. It happens so often. Secondly, allow for it. So if you suddenly start crying let it out. It is so much better out than in. So just, and that doesn't have to be right now. I mean, anytime that you are doing hip opening, especially, but you know, when your body has an emotional response, just allow for it. Okay, start to lift it back up. Walk back up into your hands. Start to curl the right toes under, walk that leg forward enough that you can then kick the left leg back again. Whoo! And exhale, take the left toes back down. Push it back once more into your full expression of a downward dog, just taking that stretch. And then roll yourself forward, come down onto your knees. And then we're going to, I'm always running out of time. So much I want to share with you all. So we're going to come into that Vagus, VAGUS, not Las Vegas, but Vagus nerve exercise. So this is, again, a way of down regulating the nervous system, a way of releasing stress patterns within the nervous system. So in the same way that you might have a particular, so when you sit, for example, and you can sit, actually, go ahead and sit with your legs crossed. But when you sit with your legs crossed, it is probable that you have a particular way that you naturally sit. So I tuck my right foot under my left knee. You might do the opposite. You might tuck your left foot under your right knee. Right away, this imbalance pops up when I do that. We have habits, and for better or worse, we also have habits when we get stressed, and our nervous system starts to effectively integrate those patterns of stress. So the vagus nerve exercises are basically circuit breakers for those stress patterns. So just to tack in with whether this might be an effective tool for you, I just want you to first sit up tall. And then close your eyes and start to turn your head to one side. And just notice how far it goes. Notice where the tension might be, at what point it stops. And then bring it back through center and again over to the other side. And again, feel the tension points where it stops. You might even notice something happening in your chest. Again, just become aware of the sensations. And then come back to center. And then I want you to unwind your legs and come down onto your back. And just go ahead and bend your knees, place them at about hip distance. Just let them be comfortable there. And then interlace your fingers and bring them behind your head. Okay. Now, in this pose, or it's not really a pose, in this exercise, we are going to use the eyes. So some of you will have done this before, and for others of you, this might be a totally new thing. In which case, just a reminder that anytime you do a new exercise, so if you just suddenly started running tomorrow, your legs would feel it, right? They'd be a little bit uncomfortable at first and probably afterwards. It's the same with this. Your eyes might be a little uncomfortable. It's an eye exercise that actually works with your cervical spine, with your neck. Your eyes might be uncomfortable, but firstly, don't worry. They're not going to get stuck in this position. And secondly, they actually won't hurt afterwards, like if you went for a run. Okay, so just know you're okay. Now, we're going to keep the nose at center. So it's like there's a puppet string from the nose to the ceiling, and we're just going to stay there. However, the eyes now are going to, without turning the head, go as far to the right as they can. So you just take your eyes out to the right corners. Your vision might blur a little bit. And you can blink. And you might feel like what I'm feeling, where you suddenly need to sigh or yawn or swallow or take a deep breath. And I've actually been pretty stressed today, so it's not surprising to me that right away I'm having lots of vagal responses. And just keep your eyes there a little longer, keep breathing. And then take your eyes back to center. And just allow for any natural responses you might have. So if you need to sigh, again, sigh, yawn, swallow, take a deep breath. Just let it all be. And now keeping the head at center, take your eyes left. So again, out to the left corners as far as they can go. And just breathe and blink as you need, as normal. All right, and then take your eyes back to center. And again, allow for any responses there. But take a moment just to sigh out, stretch a little on the ground. And then draw the knees in towards your chest, hug your legs, cross your ankles. And take your hands to your knees. And then gently rock all the way back up to center. And then once you've come back to center, again, close your eyes. And turn your head to one side. And again, just notice how far it goes, where the tension points are, if it feels like it's opened up at all. And then turn it to the other side. And I typically find that about 2/3 of my clients do experience usually a pretty profound release doing that exercise. That exercise takes a couple minutes, usually 1 minute to each side. So it's something you can even do multiple times a day. If you're feeling stressed, if you need that circuit breaker, just remember that that's one tool in your toolbox now. When we're talking about the 2-week wait, people love to say, don't get stressed. But that can actually cause more stress, right? Because we get into these loops, being stressed about being stressed. So, my invitation to you is to find your circuit breakers. So, things like that, sitting and taking some deep breaths, doing a yoga class, doing 5 minutes of yoga, doing 5 minutes of breathing. And it might not be yoga or meditation or breath related. For me, as I'm sure you can tell, my animals are a big part of my life, and I find it very grounding to be with my animals. I find it very healing. And maybe you paint, maybe you love to be outside. In fact, going for a 15-minute walk is so beneficial. So please just remember that you do have tools that are available to you that are free. Your breath, the earth, hugging a loved one that releases oxytocin. We get all these feel good chemicals. So maybe you just need to be a little bit more assertive with asking for a cuddle. Okay. Now I've run out of time, but one suggestion that I have for you right now is that you take a few minutes and also just really lie down right now. And in fact, I'm going to show you one thing. So I'm just going to grab a bolster just to show you this. Sorry, just a second. So if you have something like this, a bolster, or you can also grab a couch cushion or something like that, you can lie down onto something like a bolster or a pillow. And what's really nice is also if you can come into bound angle with your knees so that we have, and you can put blocks also under your knees here. So you come into this very beautiful open position through your hips, through your chest. And we just breathe out there. And just to show you that you don't have to have yoga props for this. So I have a very heavy Moroccan style puff here. Sorry, it's full of stuff, so it's very heavy for me to move it. But so you can also do it with something like this. In fact, that's more comfortable because it's higher up. So, be creative in these things. So you can take pillows, cushions, couch cushions, and we just open up here. And this time, rather than doing bound angle, because that feels a little too intense for my lower back, I'm just crossing the legs. So I'm still getting this beautiful hip opener, this beautiful chest opener. And I would recommend just bringing yourself into this position when you feel like it, and to just breathe deeply. Maybe put some nice music on. Because when we're in positions like this, we're really opening ourselves to receive. And for me, I think anytime there's something in my life that I wish I could control, that I can't, it's really helpful for me to remember that I am one part in the universe. I'm one part. And in fact, every challenge that I have faced, I've usually found that it has made me a better person, a more empathetic person. Every roadblock just every difficult thing really has taken me to a place where I learned and where where I could open up more. And it's not always helpful when you're going through something to go, oh yeah, no, I'll be better for this. It's kind of annoying, in fact. But see if there's a way that you can just remind yourself that you are one part of the universe, and that in fact you don't have to control things, and that control is an illusion. And so by doing something like this, you're breathing into now and you're saying, okay, I'm here to receive, and I'm alive, and I'm grateful for it. And I think that carries a vibration through your body. It carries a vibration into the world. Just a thought. Okay, I've gone way over my usual time. So feel free to continue to chill out in any pose that you would like to chill out in, or even put some music on, or hug your loved one, or talk to your cat. But thank you all so much for being here this evening, or if you're joining in a little bit later, thank you so much for joining in when you do. And just know that I am sending you all lots and lots of love, and that's it. You can send each other lots of love, because because there are other people doing this session. That there are people looking up this session, even that, in the future, you're not alone. So you can send love and healing to each other too. All right. Thank you all so much. We are back here, same time, same place next week. And that's all for now. Ciao.